Rope swung casually from a thin strand suspended in the dimly lit room, somewhere betwixt my head and reality, thoughtfully but not carefully constructed amongst conversations between flesh and blood, reason and heart, conscience and deeds, when suddenly it was captured mid-swing by the invisible hand of my vague but all too real accuser, who poured out these words like a slow-moving sludge. Why did you do it? My chest tightened. I scrolled through my Rolodex of reasons, thumbed through my files that were hopelessly unorganized, not just because they were unlabeled or yet to be labeled, but because some things are unlabelable. So I was sizing up what was before me, trying to satisfy this judgment disguised as curiosity, when the voice dripped again. Where were you on the night of October 23rd? Oh, that's when he took his first steps. Where were you when he was crying from getting his first tooth? I was 10,000 miles away from him. And where were you when he first laughed, first smiled? It certainly wasn't because you were the one making him happy. Now, was it? How could you? All at once, the thin walls of the interrogation room folded on top of each other to transform into a platform. The thin strand that held that half-assed light bulb wrapped itself around said platform, and I suddenly found myself in the middle of a boxing ring. You never loved him. You don't know how to love. You have abandoned him. You have sacrificed his happiness for your own. You have ruined his life. No. How do you know? You weren't there to see me come home from a long day of work, exhausted and swollen, and sing to him. You weren't there to hear me tell him every single day how special he was to me. You didn't see me go through 30 long hours of drug-free labor just so I could feel every sensation he had to offer me while he was still mine. You didn't see me place him in her arms. You didn't hear the four of us read our vows and promises to honor each other's permanent roles in his life, so he wouldn't have to wonder who or why, and he would know that he was never cast aside or forgotten or abandoned, and that he was loved fiercely, passionately, intensely, as though the eyes of the whole universe were on this child, because for me, they were. But no, you wouldn't know any of that. You wouldn't know anything about my life, or his, for that matter. You haven't bothered to ask. Oh, you've asked questions, all right. But only as an interlude into your own discourse as to how I fucked up everything around me. Everything you know nothing about. And with that, I sliced through the ropes of the boxing ring with the samurai sword, and after everything was sufficiently doused and the match was lit, and I watched the flames grow higher and higher into the air, and I thought, what a beautiful light I've created.